Hi everybody, welcome back to the painting channel. Today it's a watercolour. It's a place called Botany Bay in Thanet. So let's roll the intro, let's see how we get on. Hi everybody, welcome back. As I said at the start, it is a watercolour. It's all about Botany Bay in a place called Thanet on the east coast of the UK. Now it's a wonderful area full of wonderful bays, very similar to Botany Bay. The sand, the chalk cliff outline and the sky, and also the dark rocks which are weed covered, give a fantastic recipe for some great paintings. And in the far distance of the photograph that I'm painting today, you'll see further outcrops, and one of the last ones you see in that, if you walked up to it, you would see a lovely natural archway which resembles or at least alludes to Monet's Étretat in France. So it really is a great place to go, great place for the plein air painter. And yeah, it's just fantastic. I love painting it. I've done it in oil, I've done it in watercolor, I've done it several times. I never get tired of doing it. So before we go further and before we get into this video, let me just say a big thank you to all my subscribers, both old and new. Thank you so much for all the support you give the channel. And don't forget, there is so much more on offer on my Patreon. Please take a look at that. All the details are under this and every other video under the Show More tab. Take a look at the tiers. If you want to get involved, you'll be so welcome. There is more and more tons of videos on there now that you can enjoy. There is a Facebook group which is dedicated for my patrons to interact with me and with each other, show work, ask questions, get answers, get help. On top of all of that, there is a Friday night live stream every week, every Friday at 7 p.m. and that is just again for my patrons. So take a look. If you want to get involved, it costs you $5 or $10 a month, which is not a lot, and you can actually get a great big discount if you want to pay for a yearly fee, and that way you save even more money. So take a look at that. As I say, you'll be so welcome. And if you get to the end of this video, and I hope you do, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel grow and reach a much wider audience. So with that all said and done, I've already done the video. I've already done the drawing for this painting. It took a little longer, so I didn't really want to expand the video with just drawing. You've all seen me draw before. So the thing is, I'll go straight into the painting. So without further ado, let's do that. Let's get on, and I'll catch each and every one of you in the next video. So in the meantime, stay safe, have fun. Oh, and don't forget, the reference to this will be on my Patreon for you to pop over and download. You don't have to be a patron to do that, but just download it, use the reference to learn from. That'd be great. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Okay everybody, so let's get started. I did a quick run through on the drawing just so that you could see how it went down. I'm going to come in with some Ultramarine Blue, I think, today. Sometimes I go in with different temperature of blue, Cobalt mixed with some Vermillion. I'm going to come in with this one first and foremost, and that will give me a nice texture of blue through here. So let's just get that going. Let's just put that on. A little bit more water, just make this flow nicely. A nice wash will come down, but I do want to add some other blue colors in. So this is going to be the sort of primer, or the sort of first color of my sky going in. But as it comes down, I want to add in a little bit more red. I want to dirty it. There's a little bit of Indian red coming in, and that will suddenly change or start to change the dynamic of the clouds that are in the sky as this comes down. So I'm going to put that in there. I will drop some other values going through, but I wanted this nice suggestion in the sky.
Nothing ever felt as good or as easy as when we were young. Though I felt misunderstood, it was a pleasure running away with you.
And I'm going to start lighting this up now. I want to put in a little, just a little bit of yellow ochre as this starts spinning down towards the horizon. Come back with a bit of blue and then just put some more water to that as that comes down, 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 down. Carefully going around these shapes. I don't want to lose any of this.
We were just children acting like a doll, crazy, naive, bold and...
Okay, so it's now dry and we can proceed forwards. Now for this I want a beautiful warm colour. Now any colour I put on here, obviously, as we've always said, will dry lighter. So let's just look at this. I want a really gutsy warm colour coming in. So I'm going to try out first a little bit of my orange. Seems a little bit over the top. A little bit of yellow. Play around with that, but an awful lot of water. Look how much water I'm putting into this mix. So when I put this onto the surface, it's going to be really very, very pale. But I want this warmth to show through the rocks. Okay, let's just test that. Not so bad. Okay, I'm going to come in with that. I'm going to live with that.
We were kids having kids, crazy, naive. It amazes me that we didn't fall apart harder than we did.
In fact, blow it. Let's come all the way through this, all the way down, almost to the bottom of the page. But what I'm going to do is drop in some sepia colour just in and suggest that there is a little bit of shadow or reflected shadows from the depths of the stone way up in there. Let's do that.
Now they keep us on speaking terms. We grow and we learn. I have no regrets, only forgets. Oh, a big thank you to life for giving us sand. Oh, when the timing's right, there's no wasteland. Oh, we were just children acting like a...
All the better for me. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to take that now and make that come down into a beautiful blue. Now my blue, I'm going to be using Ultramarine and some Phthalo. Mix the two blues together and see what happens. Just bring that down through this area here. Deep and dark is what I'm looking for.
Crazy, naive, bold and carefree. We were kids having kids. Crazy, naive. It amazes me that we didn't fall apart harder than we did.
Going to come in with a bit of Cobalt Blue this time. So I'm getting all the blues involved in this painting. And no reason why you shouldn't. I'm just going to start looking at some of these colours up through here. Bring that down, take that across there, and just bring that all the way through here one more time, like that. Okay, now I'm going to replace some of that with some umbers and some sepia in a moment. Let's just bring that blue down first and foremost. Let the two areas here, while they're still wet, blend together. Just lose some of those whites. I don't want too many of them at that point. One or two, because they do suggest that, as I said, chalk.
Life keeps on moving. It's cold. fall apart harder than we did.
And I'm going to be looking at just shading in and putting some warm colours. To that end, I'm using some raw and some burnt sienna together and touching in a little bit of this colour as well. And I'm going to use the brush predominantly on its side really. I just want to suggest some scratchy marks that are sort of fairly conducive with the dirt and the marks on the surface of the chalk on these cliffs. So I'm using the brush very much like on its side. Don't go too mad like this because the brush relies on its point, and if you do too much of this work like this, you're going to end up destroying that point quite easily. So just be a little careful as you use it in this fashion. So I'm just going to bring that down.
Miss you. Why can't I move on? Thought I left you smiling. My past is holding on. Oh, yeah. They said keep on praying, things will change. So I kept on waiting. It's the same. When will tomorrow come? When will I see the sun? Will it stop hurting?
But I'm going to come in with a bit of a dirtish grey in these areas now, and they're not catching, they're so much cooler than these because they're that further away. I'm introducing a little cool colour and a little bit of warmth actually in through the top. Don't want it totally grey, and I want to bring that down and it gets light, slightly lighter at the bottom.
So much. When will tomorrow come?
And suggest these nice cast shadows. Maybe let's look a little bit of indigo. Always a little bit cautious of too much indigo. Very, very strong blue pigment. Let's bring that in there. And I can always drop more in, but it's sometimes obviously a lot harder to take it out if you get it wrong. I'm going to bring that down. Let that come down the face, and I'm drawing a little bit now. I'm sort of scribbling in, trying to break up the edges so that you see the little fissures of the stone where it's crumbled away over time, and some of it's got shadows, some of it of course is not, it's catching the light. So that works very, very nicely for me, I think.
They said keep on praying, things will change. So I kept on waiting. It's the same. They say keep on praying, things will change. So I kept on
and coming back into some of our heavier mixes here. We're going to add to them. We've got a lot of blues in here, so what I deliberately do now is make that some of them a little warmer. Maybe come in with a little bit of burnt sienna before we go into the very strong dark. So I'm just going to come in and suggest some of these darker marks, but they're warmer. More siennas going in. And some of them will follow that line of blue like so. Quite like what that's doing. Be careful you don't end up with cauliflowers by coming in with more water at any point. Just take that through there and lose that.
What used to be home, passing by those little towns I know so well, stopping for gas and then I'm behind the wheel again. Driving is like a spiritual cleanse where every mile is a new beginning and every bend holds a new end. Eyes on the road, don't lose control. I'm speeding fast to chase my soul. I'm driving to get away. Running through emotions high and low, holding on or letting go. I'm fighting another day. The neon lights in the fast lane life, riding high, reaching for the sky. I had it all but lost and fell back down again. Spent my time playing the game where every single day was a losing battle and every drink was a dead end. Eyes on the goal, don't lose control. I'm living fast, I've lost my soul. I'm driving to get away. Running through emotions high and low, holding on or letting go. I'm fighting another day.
And a little bit of yellow ochre really does make a greeny grey colour of our indigo, and let's just come back in there with that quite dark passage right up the end there. I'm going to soften some of it out, but it is darker than the cliff beside it, so let's take that into there. That works. We're going to use very much the same colour into the base of this here, coming out. This is dirt and stuff that's on this little cliff through here. Put some of that in. A little bit of indigo, a little bit of yellow ochre. Just going to come into the top of this and just strengthen that shadow right up in the top here to there. Let that come down, and we're going to bring that out.
How did I get caught? The walls are caving in. How come I got lost in this endless spin? Why I feel so empty deep within. Where did I go wrong? Eyes on the goal, don't lose control. I'm living fast, I lost my soul. I'm driving to get
Bring in some cadmium yellow, quite a weakish solution. Just going to run that round that top. So that comes in first. Bring some of that through there. Then we can drop our darker green in over the top and our darker stained rocks at the bottom further on. So let's just bring that colour staining in to start with.
I'm living fast, I lost my soul, I'm driving to get away. Running through emotions high and low, holding on or letting go, I'm fighting another day. Eyes on the road, don't lose control. I'm speeding fast to chase my soul, I'm driving to get away. Running through emotions high and low, holding on or letting go, I'm fighting another day. Heading back to what used to be home.
Now just come in with a much, it's got to be darker, but it's not as dark as that. So let's come in with a much paler value, and we can still play around with this, but it gives me that dark against there, which is what I've been looking for. Just going to come down and give that a little angle, a bit more of an angle once more, and then just take that around, play around with some of these coming up to the top there. Don't want too much mark. See, that's a big jump in value, so let's just lose that and just play around with one or two fissures there. And then as we come down, just finally we can put a bit of dark right in there, a bit more sepia, just to drop that in.
New beginning and every bend also new end.
And being very, very careful, leaning very carefully, I am just going to suggest the very thin lines on the top there of that one and that one below it, of course, like that. We've got a bigger shape that goes up on here and then goes across. Let's get some blues going and some sepia going. We've got a really dark, I'm going to put some indigo in. Indigo and some siennas, make it warm. There's a really rich dark when you put indigo together with the warms. And let's come back in here. Let's just put in our real dark accents through here. Now we've got to be careful. I don't want to lose all my whites. So this is where I have been leaving this right to the end. I'm going to leave that dark in there. I'm going to come down here with it, and it's going to be leaving lots of white chalks. And we're going to sort of pick it out and leave bits and put bits in, so that you tend to feel that there's all that chalk laying on the sand or laying at the bottom of these cliffs. And hopefully, if I get it right, it'll be the finish of it.
On the balcony, no one else is home. I swear I drank a half bottle in less than a half hour. I swear I didn't mean to give away my power. On the balcony, and it's getting cold.
And what I'm going to be doing is tapping a few darks in just ahead of time, because we can use some of these darks. Either they're little bits of weed and stuff that's just deposited, left on the sand from the ebbing tide, or they could actually be little bits of shadow and all sorts of little bits. But I just think that they give, there's an awful lot of weed and stuff that just lays on the sand. So I think this sort of helps break up and helps direct. You can direct people. You can actually have this leading up in here. You can actually put a little bit like that, and it suddenly starts leading people's eye into the whole of the painting.
Can someone, anyone hold me? I swear
yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. I'm going to go and find my gouache, and I'm just going to tap in a few lights that are suggestive of the stone, but I'm going to actually not pure, I don't want to put pure white in. I'm going to find my rigger, which is there, and my colour is going to be a little bit of orange, a little bit of that transparent orange. Mix some of that into one side. That's it. And quite a bit of gouache into that.
Tired EP spinning on repeat. Feels like everyone is brainwashed. Oh, I would give anything to get some truth. Yes, I could do it all different, but what's the use? Anyone so alone.
Alright, I think we're done. I'm happy with that. I'm going to sign it, and in my usual way, and start thinking about getting on with the next painting for you. So I do hope that you have enjoyed watching this as much as I've had fun painting it, because I really have. As I said earlier, I love this situation. Excuse me. In the meantime, I'm going to wish you all the very best. Happy painting. I hope you enjoy having a go at this one yourself. As always, the line art and the reference material will be free to download on my Patreon. So check that out, have a look, and have a go. All the best. Catch each and every one of you in the next video. Take care. All the best. Bye bye.